there's a lot of holidays going on right now. Today,
there's Aaron Holiday. There's Justin Holiday. Sorry.
What did Drew do? And today's May the 4th. It's the Star Wars Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was Free Comic Book Day. Colson, you celebrated National Password Day recently?
Yeah, thanks for sending that. I changed all of my passwords to 1234 because of that.
Perfect. They'll never guess, right?
I figure if everybody else is zig and nag, I'm going to zag, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet giraffe with them. Shoot me down.
That train is off the tracks.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is Sunday, May the 4th, 2025. And this is episode 762. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss Game 1 of Pacers-Cavs Round 2 action, and we're going to preview the rest of the league's second round as well. Joining me this show are all three of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up, Undebeatables? Yeah, live long and prosper, right?
Oh, no.
From Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles. It's the Informer, John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? I'm going to try to correct our nerdiness as a pod. As Yoda would say, do or do not. There is no try.
From Tacoma, Washington, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What's up, nerds?
You ready to pound some nerds?
And Yoda was saying that to Sauron? Is that right?
Yeah. As
Okay.
Frodo and Sauron were.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it.
Totally. And then Captain America
Before-
came in and was like, yeah.
Is that his catchphrase?
Yeah. It has to be, right?
I was watching real life Quidditch on the Ocho yesterday.
Nice.
Speaking of nerd stuff.
Real life Quidditch.
How does that work?
Do they have
So
jetpacks
people
or
were-
something? What's the...
So they were like, they're riding broomsticks, but they were just walking around. So they had to hold a broomstick between their legs. And then they were throwing balls into the, little wickets or whatever that stuff was.
And you still had time to watch the Pacers game?
Yeah, I was completely enamored by the Quidditch game. Yeah. And also I wondered if do they have, what's the little golden bee that flies around that just is like worth all the points?
Snitch.
The snitch. Do they have that? Is there like a drone that you have to grab or something?
You were the one watching it, weren't you?
I didn't see a snitch. That's all
No
I'm saying.
snitches? Maybe that
That
snitch
snitch
already
got
got
stitches.
stitches. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, before we get too far into the show, I do need to remind listeners they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables. And you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. I'm thinking as a a promotion. Maybe we could say if we had enough subscribers, then we do a little 2-on-2 Quidditch action where we just hop around on broomsticks and I don't know. It was kind of like soccer, right? But there was an extra little ball or something.
And there's 3 goals, I think.
Yeah, and they had different sizes, and they're worth different points. And I think you can beat each other to death. I think is also one of them. Pretty sure that's how.
Liking this more and more.
Oh no,
Call
this
your
was
own
like
fouls kind of thing.
yeah, I know. It was much more like the skills challenge at All Star Weekend, I think,
Okay.
with the different size things and the moving around and the beating the crap out of one another.
All right, team. Well, we just finished watching Game 1 of Pacers Cavs. Round 2 played today, May 4th. Tip-off time at 6 p.m. in Rocket Arena against the number 1 seeded Cavaliers. And Pacers win 121-112. I'm sorry, Colson, did you want to talk about Quidditch more, or can we talk about
I mean, that's all I watched. I only watched the Quidditch game.
So, Pacers win with a little bit of a cushion here. They were up, I think, almost the entire game. There was certainly stretches where it was going back and forth. Cleveland built small leads, but the Pacers looked, good. I guess I didn't feel comfortable for much of the game, but I think that's kind of what colored my perception of it, because I'm usually not terribly comfortable. But Pacers, they look solid. Standout performers. Let's just throw out Nembhard as a name out there, who played exceptional offensively and defensively. 23 points. Was a nice plus 21 on the day for his plus minus. Some fantastic defensive work. Miles Turner, I thought, played well in stretches with 13 points, 17 each for Siakam and Nesmith, and Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points and 13 assists. Off the bench, not too much today besides Benedict Matherin's 11 points. And what did you guys think about the block he had that got reviewed? In live action, it looked amazing, and on the replay I saw, he did get a little bit of a hand on this chest, which maybe prevented some of the upward motion.
But they reviewed that, and
they did,
and did not call it a foul.
That's true.
So that makes it a fact.
All the angles, and they said that was incredible. There's no way I'm calling a foul on this dude.
That's right. It was too good to call.
Yes.
Before we get into too deep, Donovan Mitchell, who he's been phenomenal this series, or this offseason, this season, and 33 points from him. I think there was some stat that now he's got 30 plus points in like 8 game ones. He can have that. Well, I'll take the win. But he was great himself, and Evan Mobley was too. 20 points out of him, and some, unsurprisingly, some stellar defense, and he hit a couple timely threes. Speaking of 3-pointers, that was probably enough of the difference for the day. The Cavs shot 24%, and Pacers shot 53. So
seems like a big difference.
That helped. It is a big difference because we weren't doing it on the rebounds. Actually, we tied them. How is that possible?
Yeah. Well, we got a
because
double,
you watched the game and they
got a double from Miles Turner. Turner had 11 rebounds in one game.
Anyway, I'm still processing here. That doesn't meet the eye test to me. Harper, what were your takeaways from this game?
Just an incredibly fun way to start a series. This one, Pacers came out with a ton of energy in the first quarter, did what we had to do to set the tone on the road, which we've been doing a great job of throughout the playoffs so far. Made them play from behind most of the game, really did a great job attacking their defense and making them work. You know, if this is another series where it's first to 120, I like our chances in this thing. I was a little surprised that they let this get as far away from them as they did. You know, they had some flashes in there. There was a stretch in the third quarter, I think, where we had like one field goal in like 5 minutes. It's a little scary. But I will happily take 3 more games of this. But no more.
No less. Yeah, I mean, these guys were impressive. I mean, what I kept thinking about was the difference between this team this year versus this team last year. And the way that they came out in the first 5 minutes of this game was with a seriousness and with a level of effort and intensity that the moment required. And last season, they would not have done that, right? They would have gotten their doors blown off, like in the first quarter. The other moment was, as you mentioned, Harper, that stretch where they went, I think it was 5 minutes or whatever it was, without a field goal, which other teams that would be demolishing with that Cleveland crowd.
It was a 17-5 run.
Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell getting into the lane, getting dunks, whatever he wants.
He was so good there.
And then this team, you know, called the timeout, you know, get the horses back in there, get Halliburton back in the game, and then they proceed to stem the tide for a while. The bench comes in and they do a great job, and then just out execute them down the stretch.
Yeah,
huge.
Put up 28 in the quarter.
Yeah, huge decision by Carlisle to put Thomas Bryant in for probably the most effective 5 minutes and 43 seconds in perhaps playoff history. I don't know. That's all he played, but he made like 4 plays that like changed momentum and got us back in that game. And I think that, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times we're going to make 19 threes in this series. I don't think that's going to happen again, so I'm a bit worried going forward. The fact that we were playing as well as we were and Cleveland was right there basically the entire game just shows what a good team they are, I think. And it should be noted they're missing Darius Garland in this game, who's, you know, one of their best players. So
Their starting
he's got a toe injury, which they said for the if it were regular season, he'd be shut down for weeks. But since it's the playoffs, maybe he'll try to come back and game 2 at this point, right?
Yeah, we shot 66% in the first half, and we're only up 6. I mean, you talk about them being right with us, and we had no answer for Mitchell. He just went to the rack whenever he wanted to. And
Colson, talk to me about Ty Jerome. Did we have a plan for him?
We did not have a plan for him.
Lord, no.
He wasn't on the whiteboard as far as I know. I've never even heard of. No, that's not true. I've heard of the guy. I did not expect him to be so impactful.
Yeah, we were going to let him shoot 20 times. That was our plan. I mean, every one of those shots are not shots that Spider's taken. So
that is true. But he was giving us a lot of trouble.
He was
out there on the perimeter.
No, he's super good. I mean, he was in conversation for 6th man of the year. I think he had a triple-double maybe earlier in the playoffs against Miami in that Miami series. Yeah, he's for real.
Well, I think we were lucky because we turned the ball over more than we normally do. But there weren't a lot of live turnovers, so it didn't really hurt us on that end, which was lucky. We got ourselves into some foul trouble, which we rarely do. I think, what is it? Neesmith had 3 and had to get shut down before the end of the first half. Siakam ended up with 5, I think, but
no, Siakam just had the 1.
Okay, well, then somebody had 5. Maybe it was Turner.
Neesmith ended
with 5.
Neesmith.
Yeah. Turner had ended with 3.
Okay. Maybe we didn't have foul trouble. It was fine then.
Well, I think we did early, but then it didn't happen in the second half. Also, I will say, for what it's worth, Benedict Mathurin got his mileage out of his fouls. He whacked DeAndre Hunter.
Those
and
were
then they
just
had some
solid
choice words
playoff
at
fouls.
the free throw line, and then after that, I think you could see Matherin's eyes bug out of his head when it was Hunter going to the basket for that layup, and he was like, "I'm gonna get this." Yeah, just solid. I mean, just plays from everybody. Everybody contributed, and that's what they kept saying on the broadcast. It's like, this team is so balanced. Like, you don't know where it's going to come from. Like, but you get, Matherin, not his greatest game, but hit 3 3-pointers, which were kind of huge 3-pointers at the time. Grabbed 5 boards. Halliburton, 3 blocks in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's down the stretch.
Lockdown defense.
3 basically stops in a row at the basket to basically ice this game defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And Aaron Neesmith, I mean, we've already sung his praises, but like, he took over the game for a stretch there in the third quarter when he scored some ridiculous amount of points. I think 8 or 11 points or something like that, and then got a single-handed 8-second violation on your boy Ty Jerome. Yes. To get a turnover. I mean, that was just huge,
Well, and then it was his defense on a inbound play where they had to call timeout because they were going to do a 5-second violation because he was just jumping in the air and keeping them from getting the ball in. Just did all the little things. I mean, just, he was instrumental in winning that game 5 for us. But, just the way that he tips the ball to keep a ball alive, the way that he just... the way that he just is in people's grill. I just loved watching him this game. He has moved up onto my Pacer top 25 list. That's how much I loved his performance. Yeah. He's been great.
So if he's on there, sometimes it's a very fluid list.
Oh, it's a very fluid list. You're talking to me right after a shocking playoff victory. Stealing home court against the number 1 team in the East.
All right. Well, can you give me a quick update on where people are? Did somebody got bumped? Possibly. But sometimes the top 25 is a starting point, right?
I will tell you that Turner is now 11 all-time on the list. He's moved up quite a bit recently.
Okay.
T.J. McConnell, number 16. Halliburton
16.
Yeah, Halliburton 17. Nimhard is now.
I guess McConnell's been here longer.
He's been here longer. He gives you everything you want. He's all hustle. You know.
He's definitely more of a Pacer top 25 kind of mold.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
And then you got a Nimhard with all his defensive prowess and big shot after big shot after big shot. He's 21. Neesmith right behind him at 22. And I'm still trying to decide. That's going to knock off either Oladipo or Bender, probably.
I thought Bender was in the top 10.
Yeah, or best, I guess. But they're all just hanging on by a thread now that Neesmith is here to stay. Siakam's coming soon too.
Well, I was going to say you've got 4 of the 5 starters, and you neglected to put our all-star on the list.
He's been here the shortest amount of time. You got to be,
That's fair. Nimhard, this dude is so clutch. Like
just zero fear.
Ice water in his veins constantly. Right. And so he shot. I was just looking at this earlier. He shot 29% from 3-point range over the course of the regular season. Anybody want to take a gander at what he's shooting from 3-point range in the? Gander's not the right word, but a guess at
you want a game at a guess?
Yeah. At what he's shooting from 3 in the playoffs.
I'm gonna say 45.
Oh, I'm gonna say 60.
I'll split the difference and go 53.5.
Okay, so Harper is the closest. 57.1%, and that's like not on no attempts. He's shooting 5 a game.
Yeah,
he's taking
put up 6 today. He just happened to nail 5.
A lot of them are
and like
real far away.
Extra rating.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so we've got Halliburton that has that really extended range, and Nembhard is our second guy that if you don't guard him 5-ish plus feet around the 3-point line, he'll just take it.
Yeah.
And
I've never seen him take a corner three. He hates that corner three. He wants to be 30 feet out on that wing.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, that
or straight up
where
top. As long as he's 30 feet out.
Yeah, 30
he did
feet
the
out.
Halliburton and dribbled through his legs 8 times and faked and then did a step back and hit it through.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's.
That was a Steph
Curry. It's like
Curry
that scene
shot.
in Hickory, where the guy just I don't know, I just blacked out for a few minutes. I don't know what happened.
I thought there were, the entire team, huge shot after huge shot, big defensive plays. Everybody's contributing, but I'm say the biggest shot of the game was Miles Turner's corner 3 right before
at the buzzer.
Yeah, at the buzzer.
At the end of Q3.
Does a head fake, gets wide open, just calmly drains it with no time left on the clock at the end of the third quarter, which put us up 2 instead of being down going into the quarter. I thought that was a really big momentum shift, and just calm and clutch from the veteran. It's crazy that he's that now. He's what, 27, 28.
Yep.
Yeah.
Colson, you had been talking to me offline that you think one of these games is going to be Tristan Thompson's revenge game against the Pacers.
Yep.
But he had to see the floor first. It wasn't game 1. Do you think that's coming in game 2?
No, I think it's going to be game 5.
Okay.
We're gonna close them out. We're gonna try to close them out, and they're gonna pull out Tristan Thompson to stop us from embarrassing them on their home floor.
How many games did he play with us? Was it like 5 games?
Yeah, and he was great in those games. He was
games
playing
of his
so
life.
well. He was playing so well. We had to trade him because we started winning games. It was when we were trying to tank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, one big difference I think in this game, at least for me, was the Cavs they're not like, there's no dirty players. They're not really, I don't know, there's no one like really to dislike. There was no beef. They were just out there playing ball. In this, the Bucks series was, pretty emotional, a lot of trash talking, and I felt like this has a very different tone. And I don't know. I wonder if any of that's going to change. Not the dirty part, but like if there's going to be more emotion in game 1 or after game 1. Now, Jason, do you think that the series is going to change much, or is this?
Oh, absolutely. This is the NBA playoffs. That's what happens. They are mad that we came in and ate their lunch and took game 1 away from them. There were a couple of plays they were particularly upset about. I thought Turner got away with a big foul on Jared Allen when he fell to the ground and hit hard. I'm sure there are others that they'll take exception to. And I mean, that's just what happens over the course of a series. Like, you're going to be faced up with the same guy over and over and over again. Things will get chippy, things will get more physical. You could tell even in the fourth quarter it started getting a little bit more physical, which was another point where I thought our guys were a little bit more prepared for the way that the officials were going to call the game in the playoffs. There are hateable dudes on this team.
Strus.
I mean, they got rid of George Niang. He was the most hateable. But Max Strus, I think, is going to be
he's the only
nobody's
one
favorite Cav after a while. And I really smell some fireworks between DeAndre Hunter and Ben Mathurin at some point in this series.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet, I think. Yeah, big shout out to the coaching staff on this one, too. The guys at no point in this game looked like they were not prepared for what was coming at them. And they just looked really prepared out there. Some of that is just a really steady hand from Halliburton and Siakam and all that ice water in Nembhard's veins. But a lot of that is, a whole lot of preparation from the coaching staff and these guys putting in the work. And, you would like to think if you're the coach of an opposing team that you can do something that's gonna, that's gonna surprise us and make us hurt. And that just didn't happen for them today. So we won the coaching. We won the coaching matchup today. So.
Yeah, I'm no fan of Greg Anthony, but I thought he did some homework. He had maybe watched some tape of us in his announcing and did a nice job giving us some props. He kept saying that we were just playing our game. We never stopped. We never slowed down. We never hesitated. We just, kept up the pace, and it was really effective. He said that the way that we played made the Cavs defense small because we didn't give them time to get big on us. We just kept pushing them downhill. So, that comes from preparation and game plan for sure. And knowing who we are. We have an identity,
Yep.
Yeah, I did love that, they were talking in the broadcast about how we weren't playing scared. And another point which I did like was talking about how that even when we had that, a slight cushion towards the end of the game, we didn't really change the way we played. We were still running and gunning, and which was helpful. It wouldn't make sense, but it was still helpful. Part of that time when Mitchell was getting to the rack, particularly in the third quarter, but he's making a tough shot, and they were going in, but he hits the floor, and hey, guess what? Now it's a 5-on-4, and he got to scramble to get back. So, and obviously he did a fantastic job, hustling, but he was not hurting the team, but he was when he's finishing that way, he's they're at a disadvantage because we're just moving so quickly, and we got some good open looks to this. I think Halliburton hit Siakam on one that was just good quick play, getting back, and we can equalize those buckets, or, neutralize them if we can keep hitting them like that, and they're going to be looking for that more game 2 and on. But
yeah, but we hit
them in the mouth.
Yeah, we did. We were taking the great shot instead of the good one. We were just moving the ball, and guys were getting good looks.
There were definitely some like you said, there was some really great looks. There was a lot of really good ball movement where sometimes the play would be, broken or semi-broken, and they're just whipping the ball around, back, outside, inside, outside, like in the same possession, and then all of a sudden somebody's going to get open, and they did. And you eventually the ball ends up in Halliburton's hands, behind the line with nobody guarding him, and that doesn't happen if you don't move the ball like that. No one's going to leave him open like that.
30 assists, very tough to beat when we break the 30 mark.
Well, and I thought just a lot of maturity, watching this team grow over the last couple of years. I think it was Nembhard had hit, a couple big threes in a row, and he comes down and has a fairly okay look, and you feel like it's going to be a heat check, and instead the defense comes to him and he just passes it down low to Siakam for an easy 2, and you're like, I feel like, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago he would have pulled up and heat checked, instead he waited for the better shot. So just really proud of these guys and the decision making.
Before we move on to the rest of the league, I do want to give a quick stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
And we've been talking so much NBA. I think it's time to move on to the WNBA, which is just getting their preseason underway. And the Fever started off the way any good preseason should, which is on a back-to-back, which makes sense. They played
with travel.
Played Saturday and traveled also. Yeah. The stat though, after the Fever get the win on Saturday night in overtime. Oh, also
some extra basketball
in overtime. They pack their bags, travel from Indianapolis to Iowa City, and hook up the Hawkeye fans with a 64-point win over the Brazilian national team. Caitlin Clark gets 16 points. She did not play in the first game against the Washington Mystics.
What was the final score that they won by 66?
108-44.
Wow.
This may not shock you. It was Clark and most of the starters did not play in the fourth quarter. It was 70-24 at halftime.
Yeah, the Brazilian national team is going to have to rethink these international friendlies. It's not very
They just
friendly.
played the Chicago Sky They played the Sky on Friday, and that game was more competitive. The Chicago Sky won 89-62. But
not close.
It's more competitive. It's less bad.
Not close. It's definitely not.
It's not close, but it's less bad.
Oh, poor Brazil.
Poor Brazil.
We just took home court advantage.
We did. And
That just occurred to you? You sound surprised.
No, I mean, this is crazy. Game 5 was such an amazing come from behind win, but it was a different feeling because, we were kind of in control of that series. And I just had mentally prepared to get our asses whooped, and it turns out we're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Turns out Pacers are pretty good.
who knew?
Right?
Who knew?
Yeah.
The team that went to the same team who went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Who knew that team was
What
good?
was that thing they showed? We were trending on Google or something like that. Searches for have the Pacers ever won a championship? Like, we're up 4,000% or something.
4,000%.
You know how
What's
to.
occurring to people like during the game? I mean, I guess it is.
Do we know how to profit off that, Joe? Is there just can the response be the Undebeatables link or something?
If I remember correctly, your old plan was just involved Wikipedia in some way.
Yeah.
You think that if we get linked by Wikipedia, then money just starts showing up. So, yeah, let's go with that.
I've had worse plans.
We could. Oh, you know what we could do? We could buy ads based around have the Pacers won the title, and we could have a whole show about that. We could sell some ads, or buy some ads.
So what you're saying is we should do a podcast about the Pacers and see what happens?
Yeah, let's see how this works out.
It's a good plan.
All right. Instead of talking about the Pacers now, let's talk about the rest of the league, which they're finishing up round 1 as we record. The Rockets, the Warriors are still playing. So we'll come back to that one. Let's stay in the East. The 2-3 matchup, Celtics-Knicks. I guess, do we want to wrap up anything in the first round, or do we know how all that ended? Anything to discuss in those matchups, or just move on? Say no rearview mirror, just look to the future.
Well, did we pick things, right? Did we get points for that?
Cleveland ends up winning in
4, right?
3.5.
Yeah, I feel like Jason was maybe even too generous with his 3.5 game prediction there. I think they might have been able to do it in 12 quarters. Everybody gets points. Joey and Jason will give 2 points too for choosing the sweep.
Woohoo. Nice.
Colson chose Cleveland in 6, but 5. I have written down here. I don't know what that means.
That tracks.
Boston wins over the Magic in a dominant Game 5 victory. But here Colson had Boston 5, but Magic 6. I guess that's worth 2 points. I don't know what that means. The rest of us had Boston in 4, so we'll all get points for that. New York won their matchup against the Pistons. A really entertaining series, which, boy, that Boston team's going to be coming for us next year. 6 games there. Jason, you get 2 points for that. Colson had New York 4, but then tried Detroit 6, so I'm just not going to give you any points for that one. I've already given you 2 points for the other one.
Oh, great. It all washes out.
And in the Milwaukee series, I had the Pacers in 6, so I get 2. Everybody obviously gets points there for picking the right, better, and destined team.
Wait, why do you get 2 from Milwaukee or Pacers in 6?
Pacers
won 5.
Or sorry, 5.
Okay.
Joey had 5. Yeah. All right, moving on to the Western Conference.
And I had the sweep and coach gets fired. Right?
Yeah, you did. I'm still waiting for that axe to fall.
Yeah. If he does, I will take extra point.
You get a bonus point. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only it would call the end of Damian Lillard's career. Oh, too soon.
OKC took care of business and no problem over the Thunder. They win that in 4 games. Everybody gets 2 except for Colson, who was generous enough to give the Grizzlies a game. We'll hold off on judgment in the Golden State Houston game. Everybody had this going 7 except me, so some people are getting 2 points for that series. We just don't know who yet.
The Warriors are currently up 12 in the third quarter.
Yep, I did have the Warriors. I just didn't have them at 7.
Okay.
And then the Lakers got wiped out by Minnesota. I'm the only one who had Minnesota in that series, but I chose them in 6, so I get a point. I feel like for going against everyone, I should get 2 points. But we'll add that.
Hey, you're keeping score. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then the Denver Clippers series, again, very entertaining series, goes 7. Mr. Triplet, you will get the deuce on that. Everybody else gets a point. As of now,
Sorry, go ahead. Did I call James Harden disappearing in Game 7? I feel like I would have called that. Was that implied?
That was implied by this show.
Okay. Yes.
7
by the
points.
body of our work.
7 points as they get blown out in their final game of that series.
Yep.
Not super great. So, as of right now, Mr. Triplet is winning a tight scoring battle here after the first round with 10. Joey, you have 9. I have 8. And Colson, you have 6.
Ooh.
Nice.
And that's with him taking 2 shots at most of them.
I feel like I putting all my money on Memphis winning a game was not my best plan.
You forgot Dylan Brooks wasn't there anymore?
That's right. All in on Dylan Brooks.
Love
my
Dylan
favorite
Brooks.
player. Yeah.
Did you guys see the clips of Dylan Brooks trying to hit Steph Curry's hand multiple times in the same shot?
Yeah.
And then he said, if you don't like contact, you should take up golf or tennis or something.
That's the poster on my ceiling is him hitting Steph Curry and saying take up golf.
Is that your like the poster eyes?
Yeah.
Is that like when we were growing up, you had Jordan dunking on somebody or Reggie hitting a 3, trash talking or something, and yours is Dylan Brooks trying to injure somebody's thumb.
Getting in a slap fight.
I'm pretty sure Steph's also an incredibly good golfer, so I'm pretty sure he'd whoop Dylan Brooks' ass at that too.
I think Steph was like, thanks, I already did. Scratch handicap. So,
yes. All right, well, let's make our predictions for round 2. Harper, you've got the pencil, right? Pencil ready?
I do, yeah. And I already wrote down 2 predictions. I chose Indiana in a 7-game series, and Colson took Cleveland in 5 last show.
Yeah.
The old going for the douchebag sweep here.
I'm going for the douchebag sweep.
Yeah.
Jason, what about you?
Wait,
waffle for a little bit.
what was your prediction, Harper?
I got Pacers in 7.
In 7.
On the road.
I think this is a long series. I think the Cavs are a very good team, and I think we're going to push them to the limit. But history says teams that win as many games as the Cavs did in the regular season are typically hard to get out of the playoffs. So I will take the Cavs in 7. I think it goes a long way, though.
I'll take the old Pacers in 6.
Nice.
Like it.
Wrap it up at home.
Yep. Let's see, we'll take our games at home, and then
that's all you need.
Games, 3 and 4,
And
the
6.
old number 6.
Yeah.
All right.
Next series
2-3 matchup.
in the East. Looking at Boston and New York. Top 4 seeds remain in the Eastern Conference. This should be
Yeah.
a bloody series. This is what this is going to be.
Yeah.
This is going to be a rock fight. Oh, this is going to be. Is everybody taking 7 in this?
No, I don't think New York's that good, and I think they're wearing down. I've got the Celtics in 5.
Ooh,
They're going to get tibbed.
Yeah, I think they're playing 45 minutes a night, and then they'll just wear out by game 5.
I think if this was the regular season, Brunson would take a few games off. He plays through it, but
Brunson's brilliant, but I mean they've got so many guys they can put on him. I mean he's going to see, Derek White. He's going to see Drew Holiday. He's going to see Tatum. I mean there's just going to be so many guys they can throw at him. I just don't see this working, and I'm not sure that Big Cat has proved that he can shoulder the load.
I mean, he's been playing some of the best ball of his career, I would say. So now's as good a chance as any. The problem there is that they also have dudes that they could throw at them. Like, Porzingis can, hang with him on the perimeter and down low, I think. They really found a matchup that he could exploit in that Detroit series because Jalen Duren couldn't come out to him on the perimeter, and then they tried to put Tobias Harris on him, and he just abused him in the post. So, but I agree with you. I think that this is Drew Holiday healthy? Is he going to play again?
No.
Okay.
He's probably going to play, but he's not healthy.
Okay. Yeah. What you said? Celtics in 5. I think I'll take Celtics in 6.
Joey, what do you got?
I'll take them. You know what? I think that they're winded down. I'll take the sweep.
Ooh, okay.
For Boston. I do think that they're dwindling here. Like they were better than the Pistons, but Thibodeau's running these guys into the ground, and there's so many good Celtics players that, some of these guys didn't even bother playing them in the first round. Like, they didn't need to. Like Drew, they didn't rush this guy back. So, I'll take a sweep.
Wow. Okay. I'm not a big fan of either of these teams, but I'm surprised how little you guys actually like New York. I mean, they made a lot of moves in the offseason that made this a better team. I think that they're going to, at the very least, push this thing to the limit. I'll just go ahead and take the Knicks at 7. I think it should be an interesting series at the very least.
Suck it, New York.
Suck it, New York and Boston.
And Boston.
Moving into the Western Conference, we've got a 1-4 matchup. Thunder and Nuggets after the Denver squad pulls out their tight series against a surprisingly good Clippers team. Colson, what do you think that Denver can do after being barely good enough to beat the LA Clippers against the
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about
Oklahoma
that.
City
Yeah.
Thunder?
I mean, I like Denver's experience and, their mile high advantage. I just don't think that. I mean, apparently Michael Porter Jr. has to show up for them to be good, and he only shows up half the games. So I'm going to go with Thunder in 6.
Seems safe. Jason, would you like to be less safe?
Not necessarily, but I do. I mean, so the thing with this Denver team, I think they played the Thunder 4 times throughout the regular season and went 2-2 against them. With Jokic on the floor, you have a chance in every game. It's crazy how good that dude is. And the way that they waxed the Clippers, especially in that second half of that Game 7, was
That's pretty satisfying.
just impressive. Yeah. Russell Westbrook, hanging from the rim and yelling at the crowd. It was pretty great. But I think this OKC team is really a buzzsaw. But out of respect to Jokic, I'm going to say OKC in 7.
Joey, do you have that much respect for Jokic?
Well, here's what I did find out was unrelated. Do you know there's 3 active Porter Juniors playing right now?
Kevin.
There's too many, if you ask me.
Yeah. Who's the third one?
There's a Michael and a Craig who plays for the Cavs.
Craig. My buddy Craig Porter.
Have you ever seen Michael Porter Jr. and Craig Porter Jr. in the same room at the same time?
I have not.
There you go.
And Otto Porter Jr. retired, or is out, I guess, of last year. And I wish I would have known that Kevin Porter Jr. has a couple of good nicknames. My favorite of which is Black Joker.
Okay.
He's also Scoot and Scooter, but that's neither here nor there because they've been eliminated from play. And there's other Porters Jr. to talk about now. I mean, OKC is on a bit of a mission. I wonder though. I wonder if the Nuggets can turn things around. So I'll take the old Nugs in 7.
Wow.
I like it.
Really?
Like it.
A lot of respect for Jokic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing Westbrook all hyped up was pretty fun.
Yeah. I do not enjoy that. And I think that we'll get to watch him crumble along with this team as OKC sweeps them out of the building. I don't trust a team that just fired its coach for the playoffs. The continuity and professionalism of this OKC team is going to be too much. Maybe Jokic has a 50-25 15 night or something and they pull one out, but the amount that he's going to have to do on the court to get them wins is just, I think, going to be too
You get
much.
one Jamal Murray game, and then you spread things around.
There you go. All right, so moving on to the final matchup, which will be Minnesota versus Question mark, question mark, question mark. Should we hold
Be
off
the
on
Warriors
predictions
if
for
Buddy
this one?
Hield has anything to say about it. Got 22 right now.
7-point game, though. No,
Warriors are up 7, yeah.
It's close. We'll probably do another pod this week.
I'll put my flag on Minnesota right now. I think Minnesota beats either of these teams. Anthony Edwards is the real deal. He's here. That team, especially as the playoffs go on, I think their defense gets that much more potent. I mean, because they can just manhandle teams. It's like if Jaden McDaniels is allowed to play at playoff level defense, like nobody's going to score on him, basically. Let's see, if they play the Dubs, they would actually have home court advantage. I'll take him in 6 against either of these teams. Go ahead. Put that in until Julius Randle does something stupid, and then
Halfway through game 1.
yeah, and then I wonder what was I thinking.
I was really impressed with how they dispatched the Lakers. But I think both the Warriors and Rockets are really good, and I'll have this thing go to the limit with the Timberwolves winning against either team in 7.
All right, Joey, care to throw your hat in the ring?
I think I'm gonna split. Legitimate way. I'll take 2 shots, legitimately. I'm not gonna name any names here, but I think that if it's Golden State, I think the Warriors will take the Timberwolves. I guess then I would say in 7.
So we're gonna have a playoff Jimmy and his revenge tour in Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay.
But if it's the Rockets, I think it's going to be the Timberwolves. I guess I just don't like the Rockets also.
Boost
Not
the
yet.
Rockets.
Yep. And if it's in that scenario, I'd say Wolves and 6 in that one.
All right. I like it. I'll take Minnesota in 5.
Either way?
Yeah, either way. I don't think the Rockets, like Detroit, that's a team that's going to be real scary in the coming years. They don't have quite enough. They still got a little bit of growth to do. The Warriors certainly do look dangerous, but Draymond just increasingly looks like he always does, just playing on the edge. So he's probably going to get tossed out of a game and do something stupid to hurt his team. And I don't know, it starts to feel a little predictable with that guy. So Minnesota.
He had a couple good ones this last week.
Yeah.
Just a couple. Just textbook Draymond stuff, grabbing someone in the head and kind of tossing them down and blaming them.
Yeah.
As it happened.
Going into their huddles. I saw that.
He has a good natural hacking motion, I think is what.
Yeah, he had Rudy Gobert in a headlock once upon a time, so I don't think those two probably like each other very much.
That's a good point.
So I will probably be rooting for Minnesota in that series as well. So suck it, Draymond.
All right. Well, I think that gets us through round 2. And, we will, of course, see how the last remaining game goes right now. Golden State's got a lead. But, who knows? Who knows?
That's why they play the game, Joe.
Game. This low scoring game is 58-53 with 5 minutes left in the third. If this game is first to 120, we're going to be here a while, you know.
Game sevens, man. It's just
sounds like a game
tough
seven.
to put the ball in the basket.
So Jason, do you happen to have the playoff schedule handy?
Sure, dude. I can get that for you. So the Pacers play Tuesday at Cleveland, 7 o'clock tip. Then Friday, hosting 7:30 tip. Sunday, Mother's Day, 8 o'clock tip. And then 5, 6, and 7 would be the following Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, if necessary. TBD on the tip time.
TBD. We took a long time to get the Sunday tip time, if I remember correctly, but I'm just complaining to no one at this point.
Yeah, well, they wanted that game 7 at prime time. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys feeling good? Feeling great?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, basketball.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of winning. Getting tired of winning, Joe.
Well, you need to hit the winning gym and stuff or something, and get your endurance for winning up.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Well, we'll be back with you hopefully later this week as the playoffs go. We really try to do as many as we can. But, you know, life is there sometimes as well. Non-basketball life is there. And sometimes we can't always get there. Also, let's be honest, I'm a little less motivated. Like, after Game 3 at the last series, I wasn't really itching to get on the mic late in the evening and talk about how we got worked in the third quarter. So
you phoned in sick that day?
No.
You're a fair weather podcaster. That's how it is.
Right.
I mean, a little bit.
So you will only get podcasts after we win, Pacer Nation.
That's not the case. Because what are we doing right now? We're, as far as I can tell. Oh, no, wait. We won that game. All right. I got to get out of here. We'll be back with you as soon as we can. You can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website, theundebeatables.com, is also a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. Email, shout out at theundebeatables.com. And you can hit our website /store for merch.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sickleonard. Turn out the lights, the party's over. Let's go Pace.
Just getting
Does
started.
Cleveland have who's the enforcer for Cleveland? Who's their knucklehead?
That's a good question.
I mean, maybe Jared Allen?
It's not Strus.
Maybe Jared Allen.
Yeah, he's so likable, though.
It's all right, I guess.
I mean, we'll see by the end of the series who you dislike the
Yeah.
most.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I feel like Struce probably is
Yeah.
one most likely to throw a bow.
I could see that.
I'm telling you, I did not like that Ty Jerome kid. I've never heard of him before.
Craig
but-
Porter Jr. Tristan Thompson is their enforcer, I guess. If
Yeah.
they want to
Okay.
have somebody come in and lay wood on somebody, that's him.
That would be the guy, I suppose.
Is there and do we expect Darius Garland back game 2 or?
He is highly questionable.
Okay. We expect him back in this series. We're not sure what that looks like.
Did you all know he's from Gary, Indiana?
I don't know that.
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. That's all I know.
Okay. So we went to the comic book shop which was just so full. It was so busy, so many people, but they had I believe a replica, but a legit 66 Batmobile, and the thing was freaking awesome. It had like a rocket engine looking thing in the back, and he said it would light up. It would shoot out flames.
Shoot flames.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It was pretty cool. So the boy was quite impressed.
I bet. Was Adam West there?
He was not, due to him having passed on, but he had autographed something on the Batmobile, so it was very cool. I'll send you some pictures. It's huge.
I mean, it's got a whole Batman.
Yeah.
And Robin, right? Don't they ride in it together?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. As long as he calls shotgun. But yes. It's a 2-seater. So, Batman and Robin. Cinco de Mayo tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.